Hi, my name's Tirzah, and I've been learning how to surf for about 2 years now, and this is my story. I've been learning how to surf for about 2 years, but I haven't been riding waves for 2 years. It's been this process for me to learn how to make peace with the ocean, learn how to go underwater without plugging my nose, be able to paddle into the waves, build up my strength. It's taken a lot of work and a lot of patience to learn how to surf, but last week I caught my first real green wave, and it was a long ride, and I've never been so stoked about surfing in my life. And it was such an amazing experience, and now I can't wait to get into the water every single chance that I get. So I wanted to share some of my experience with you, hopefully to encourage you if you've been trying to learn how to surf and it's just been a struggle, to keep going and to keep trying and to keep making an effort. So to start off a little bit with my background and where I grew up in the Puget Sound area, which doesn't really have any waves to speak of for surfing. But I grew up in the pool, I grew up spending hours swimming, I loved the water, but I never knew how to go underwater without having to keep my nose plugged with my hand. I was so afraid of going underwater, and I tried again and again and again to have friends try to teach me how to go underwater, but I never learned. Because of this inability to go underwater without plugging my nose, I had a lot of fear surrounding the water, even though I loved to swim and to be in the water. So about 2 years ago, I moved to California to be near my husband, and I tried learning how to surf, and we went out about probably 10 times, and he tried to push me into waves, but I just couldn't do it because every time I'd fall, I'd have to plug my nose, and I was just very afraid, even if I could stand in the water, that the waves were too big or too overwhelming, and I just couldn't get it. And this caused a lot of frustration and difficulty, and it made it really hard for me to stay positive about learning how to surf. My husband's been surfing for about 10 years now, and so he has a lot of experience. He's pretty good at it, and so he couldn't really understand why I wasn't able to surf. So I'm hoping with this channel to share some of the tips that gave me little baby steps into learning how to surf, how to read the waves, how to overcome this fear, and tips that I think really helped me to progress faster and hopefully will help you progress faster than me. So one of the first and obvious steps that I had to take to overcome this fear and to actually try to start becoming more comfortable in the water and becoming more comfortable about learning how to surf was getting myself accustomed to going underwater. And this took a lot of time. Learned that it was actually almost a phobia. It was a reaction that my body was having, that when I would go underwater, I would breathe in. And so one of the things that I did that really helped me with this, as silly as it sounds, is I took a bowl of water, and on land, I put my face in it and just tried getting used to the idea of having my head in the water and my face underwater without plugging my nose. And this took some time and some effort, but I was able to get to the point where I could start practicing breathing some air out of my nose to prevent water from coming up it. And then the next step I had to take was to actually get into the pool and practice this. And it took some time, but I also was able to finally get to a point where I was able to go underwater. I was able to swim back and forth in the pool without plugging my nose. And I don't mean to make light of this because it was a very difficult thing for me to overcome, but I was so relieved to finally overcome, honestly, a childhood fear of mine. What was so important is that I had to practice not breathing back in. And doing this in an enclosed environment, whether it was the bowl of water or in the pool, gave me time to focus on just my breathing and holding my breath rather than being out in the ocean and having waves hitting me and crashing. And there can be a lot of chaos or fear of people on the beach wondering what you're doing. And so it gave me in a controlled environment that I could see I was safe, I was okay, I could do this, and build up my confidence in going underwater. The next thing that really helped me to progress with my surfing was actually boogie boarding, and not just catching the whitewash, but that's a great way to keep it fun and to have yourself get some positive experiences in the ocean. But I also got some swimming fins and a boogie board. You have to make sure it's not a cheap one, otherwise it'll break or snap in half. But you can get about $50, you can get a pretty decent boogie board. I bought one from Costco, and it really helped me to have a smaller board and to practice going under waves and duck diving and catching waves and the timing of catching waves, because that is so important, is where you're positioned in the wave, and when you catch them. If you catch them too late, you'll just fall over your board. If you catch them too early, then it'll just pass over you and you won't catch the wave at all. So having a smaller board really helped me. With surfing, the best board to start with is a long board, usually a foamy, and this can be intimidating to have this giant board and waves are crashing and it's flying everywhere, you're flying everywhere, and so it really helped me to have a smaller board that I felt like I could manage and I could kind of throw around if I needed to get myself out into the lineup and to get some practice in catching some green waves. Another really big thing that helped me a lot is to get into shape. I am not a workout person. I hate workouts. I hate running. I have had a love-hate relationship with working out for a long time, and I would always work out for a couple days, get sore, and then just stop, and I would just fall off the train and completely lose my momentum. And so I was trying to force myself to do lower intensity workouts, stretching, just some stuff to get me into the habit of working out. And this really helped my surfing a lot, because as easy as people make surfing look, it is very difficult and it takes a lot of muscle strength. It takes core, it takes legs, it takes your arms, it takes neck, your back. There's a lot of strength that you need to build up in order to get to the point where you can start catching green waves and not just the foamy whitewash. So I would highly recommend try to find a workout program or some kind of workout. You can find tons online that helps you enjoy it, but also start getting into shape, and it'll really improve your surfing abilities a lot. Another really big common mistake as beginners that can really set back your surfing is to paddle out in conditions that are not at your skill level. I'm talking 4 to 6 foot waves. Those are not for beginners. As a beginner, you should be paddling out just to catch the foam of the bigger sets, especially if it's a bigger day. Don't paddle all the way out. You'll just scare yourself and you won't want to go back out surfing for a long time. Once you're to the point of trying to catch some green waves, make sure you just go out on days that are 2 to 3 feet, because those are still small enough that you can paddle out past them, especially if you're not in super great shape. But they're also strong enough that you can catch the wave and practice trying to ride the green wave and catching them at the right point. So one of the last things that really helped me a lot with surfing and being in the ocean and overcoming this fear that I had was to keep it fun. It shouldn't be a stressful situation that makes you not want to get back in the water for weeks because you've almost been traumatized. You should try to keep it fun, and this is where having a boogie board or even just body surfing can be a lot of fun, and just associating the ocean with a fun time instead of a stressful, overwhelming experience. I spent about 1.5 years just riding a boogie board with surf fins. I had so much fun. I was catching outside waves, and so it's possible to have fun on a boogie board and learn a lot while having a smaller board that you can manage a little easier. Once I felt pretty confident and comfortable riding a boogie board and catching waves, then I transitioned back over to my foamy board that I have behind me here. And it was a night and day difference learning on this board now, because I had experience with how to read the waves, how to catch the waves, how to get out into the lineup, and how to just not get overwhelmed and afraid when sets come through. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me out a lot. Comment down below if there's any tips that you would like me to share or other video ideas that you'd like to see. I'm gonna try to get some surfing footage of myself. I do have a baby, and sometimes it is hard for my husband to film footage of me surfing, but I'll try to get some footage so that you guys can see some of my progress with surfing. I'm also really looking forward to sharing exciting videos of my meals or my day-to-day life and some vlogs. So stay tuned, subscribe down below if you like these videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.